Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm excited to be back home from my vacation, and we're going to get things started off right by doing something that I haven't had to do yet, but in my rush for vacation, I noticed that I made a mistake, and this video is going to be correcting that mistake. This week is going to be a re-release of last Monday's video. So for those of you who did watch last Monday's video, you are aware that I apparently cut it short. So in a rush to get going and everything scheduled for my vacation, I did not go back and rewatch it after publishing the video. And even though the time was the correct length, it didn't actually play through the entire thing, which means that it trimmed off about the last 3 minutes of the video. And so it kind of worked out such that, look, I just got back. I wanted to still share that content with you guys. I don't want you to miss out on some of that stuff that I had to say. I was pretty happy with the way it all turned out. So what I'm doing is you're going to see following this clip is going to be the last week's video in its entirety. It's actually going to contain the last roughly 3 minutes that you may have missed. So if you missed last week's video, just go ahead and watch from here on out. If you did watch last week's video, what you're going to want to do to pick up on the stuff that I ended up dropping the ball on, in essence, is go and move the video back about 3 minutes from the end, and you should be able to see how everything ended. So thank you so much in advance, and please enjoy this corrected version. Remember that you can always fix your mistakes. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you coming and sharing your time with me. So for those of you who don't know me yet, my name's Dave. Our channel is called ScotsToys, named after my son. And on this channel we cover Lego investing. We cover our Bricklink store updates, and we go over some general reselling, kind of the flipping and garage sale hunting type stuff. In this particular video, we're going to be talking a little bit about our Lego investment side of the company, and specifically, it's going to be a little different. I'm going to go ahead and share with you my top 5 mistakes to watch out for, and these are going to be based on 5 mistakes that I have made during my Lego investment. Now, before we jump into things, I do want to ask you, and this is crucial, this is super important, this is downright something that would mean the world to me, but if you could go ahead and click on that like button below, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you feel so inclined, I would love it if you would share this video, share my passion of Lego, of investments, of Bricklink, of reselling, of all that awesome stuff that I enjoy sharing with you. If you could share it with somebody else, that would be really cool too. So I would greatly appreciate anything that you're able to do in that regard. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into my top 5 mistakes. All right, so to talk about mistake number 1, we had to come over to this side of the basement. So mistake number 1 is purchasing sets right after they release. So you can see over here, I have some of the Harry Potter books. These are the Potions class, Hogwarts Moments is what they call the sets. And I have quite a few of these. I did get a decent deal on them, I guess. They were offering a gift with purchase promo through Lego, so I bought what I believe you could at max, which was like 3 sets each. So I have 3 full sets of books, and I've gotten a couple more since then. However, one of my biggest mistakes is jumping into sets too early. This is just one example of some of that, but this set just came out, I think it was at the beginning of this year, 2021, and likely will not be retiring until 2022, maybe even later into the year, which means this set is going to be sitting on my shelf for at least another year, probably closer to 2 years before I'm able to turn it. And that's one of my big mistakes, is pulling the trigger too early, which means that I'm going to have to sit on that money, set that money on a shelf for a lot longer than I would really care for. You would do better and be better off by trying your best to find sets closer to retirement, and or at certain retail locations, you can actually get sets that are retired. You just got to keep an eye out for some of those locations. So that was tip number 1. Don't make the mistake of buying a set too early after release. All right, everybody. Mistake number 2. And I kind of covered this in a previous episode, but make sure you are properly storing your sets. Don't stack your sets up where you're going to crush your boxes. You're going to lose the value. And specifically, the example I'm going to show you here that's bit me a few different times now is do not store your sets in a non-climate controlled area that can get really hot. As you can see here, I have one of the Lego Harry Potter Astronomy Tower sets. This one ended up sitting in my vehicle too long. And you can see what we have happening down here is we have the tape has popped, not completely loose on this one, but loose enough that if a buyer purchased this, if I had purchased this set, I would question whether or not this was truly a sealed set or whether it had already been opened. So tip number 2, keep your sets properly stored. That involves the stacking, maybe using shelving so that you don't crush or damage boxes, as well as temperature controlled so that it doesn't get too hot and the humidity causes the seals to break open, causing you to lose value in your precious investments. Time for tip number 3. Please do not make this mistake, and that is do not assume just because a set is on clearance means that you are guaranteed to get a good return on investment. So what I have back here are 2 particular sets like that. The first, this Lego Movie 2 and the Lego Movie 2 series, this is one I did not do any due diligence on. I was just buying stuff because it was on clearance and it was time to buy. The Lego Movie 2 stuff has not performed exceptionally well. You can, as a matter of fact, still get many of the sets for under retail price. This particular set, I want to say I paid about $13 for. This one might have a little bit of value, but it has certainly not performed very well compared to how long I've had this in my collection. These are not some of the oldest, but these sets have been hanging around my investment or collection for quite a while, and I went fairly deep into a few of those. Another one, which is the even worse example, the Introducing Queen whatever wannabe. This set, you can see here, I paid $13 with it on clearance, which sounds amazing. That was almost, I think that ends up being around 40% off. I believe the set retailed for $20. And that set has not performed well at all. It might still be available for around $13 or $16, which means I have no opportunity to move that set at this point. So, just to recap, just because a set is on clearance does not mean it is a good investment. Tip number 4, do not make this mistake. Do not lose patience and give up on the opportunity for a good ROI because you feel like you just need to let some stuff go. You can see here I've set aside a couple of the Microfighter sets. I have one of the older sets and then 2 of the newer ones. The Microfighter series specifically is a set or series that I personally let a bunch go in about mid-2019, and I was getting them on clearance for $5. I let them go for $10, thinking that, hey, I doubled my money. Why not let them go? That's all I need to do. I have since regretted not having patience with those and waiting until a better opportunity came around, maybe waiting until Q4. Many of those sets that I let go for $10 are now going for around $35 to $40, meaning that I gave up a ton of investment potential because I wasn't patient with the set. Don't make that mistake. Have patience. Wait it out. Put down what you think is realistic for an exit number in terms of where you want to see that set get, and do your best not to falter on it. It's okay to have a staggered exit strategy for a set where you're going to let some go at one ROI, hold on to a few of them until you get to a higher percentage, so on and so forth. But do your best to create that plan and stick to that plan. Don't just think, I've doubled my money, might as well cash out now. Have some patience. Mistake number 5 that you want to avoid while doing Lego investment is missing out on a good opportunity. So what I have here are 2 of the Lego coins that recently released as a VIP promo. You can see I got the gold coin. I have the octane coin. I think I may have the space coin. I'm not 100% positive if it will come through. The order that I placed, it was attached to some backlogged items, and therefore I don't know if by the time those items are no longer back ordered, if the coin is still really sitting aside reserved for me. Last I checked it was, but who knows. The important part here is that you need to be on top of things. You need to be making sure that whether it's Walmart clearance, you're going and checking periodically. Get to know the store so that you know when they adjust their pricing, what day of the week they do that on. Check Lego on a monthly basis at a minimum to be aware of what gift with purchases they have coming up, what VIP promos they have coming up, and be ready and set a timer to take advantage of those things. If you wait and if you don't know and do your research in advance or take too long to assess an opportunity, that opportunity may be gone, which is kind of what happened to me with the coins. That's one of my big regrets, is not getting the entire set as well as the 5 coin holder case. Hopefully, when they come back up this next round, which FYI, I have heard they are going to do another release of them, so keep an eye out if you didn't get them all or are looking maybe even for another set. But I missed out on a few of those. I wish I hadn't. You need to be aware of these things. You need to be watching so that you can take advantage of it. This also applies to other marketplaces, places that come and go. eBay, if you're going to be watching eBay for deals, you can occasionally find them, but you need to know very specifically what things you're going to be watching for and have in your mind what the value of those items are. Because if you don't, and you try and look it up after the item has been posted, same is true of Facebook Marketplace, same is technically true of Walmart and Amazon sometimes, you will get old retired sets that pop up even on those platforms. But if you don't know the value and what your buy point is for said item so that you can feel good about that return, by the time it comes up, you don't have time to do that information gathering. If it's a quick item, if it's a hot item, you might not have that. And so do your research in advance. Be prepared. Don't let a good opportunity pass you by, but also don't go blindly into an opportunity and jump into it unless you have done that research. Do your research in advance. Don't let the opportunities pass you by. Mistake number 5, don't miss out on a good opportunity. That is it for today's episode. I really hope that you've learned something here. I'm really hopeful that you can learn from my mistakes and you don't make those same mistakes, or at least if you do, you go into them knowing that you are taking an extra risk. And sometimes you can't avoid making mistakes. It's a part of life. It's a part of businesses. It's a part of investment. However, you need to make sure that you're ready to learn from them. And sometimes if you take a risk that you know is a mistake, that you've just thought about it and you are prepared to live with the consequences that could come from it. So thank you so much for watching this episode. I really hope that you've all enjoyed. I had a great time sharing this with you. Hopefully you enjoyed this format. I would like to do more videos along this lines, not necessarily all top fives, but sharing more of my experiences so that you guys can learn from them. If there's anything specific that you would like me to share in a future upcoming video, or a question that you would like for me to answer, please go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this time as much as I did. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for checking out our channel. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.